Whew. So happy Wednesday. This is Forrest out in St. Louis. Hopefully you're having a wonderful week. I think we're in week like 800 million of the, I guess you call it the quarantine cycle here, the 10-foot rule, the 6-foot rule, the COVID-19 event. I don't even know what we're calling it nowadays. It's just just so much going around about it. It's crazy. So, a couple of quick questions here, and I'm going to amplify it, modify it, talk about it a little bit, get into it a little deeper. The questions going around the internet, and this is just it's everywhere. I've seen it pop up about a bazillion times, so I figured I'd jump on the bandwagon. And the question is, what is your current situation? Are you an essential worker? Are you working from home, or you're just not working? And this question, of course, is that's basically where everybody's at right now. Is are you an essential worker, and exactly what does that mean? Um, are you working from home? And if you are working from home, that's really good because you're not losing any income at all. They just moved you from an office to a home, and of course, not working. So, and the not working thing, some people probably weren't working before the COVID-19 hit. For example, my sister, who was retired, she would answer number three. She's retired. She's got a retirement income coming in. So basically, the COVID-19 is not affecting what she's doing at all. And the fact that she can't really travel anymore and go on her golfing vacations and things like that she likes to do. So from a social uh, leisure standpoint, it's affecting her, but from a financial standpoint, it's not. And there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of people in America that the COVID-19, the only thing that's doing is sort of interrupting their leisure time, if you want to put it that way. And good, they work for it. They worked hard many years. They put in retirement. They have their retirement plans, their pensions, or whatever. There's people that are quite a few people have been affected, especially people that use mass transit to get around, even if they're an essential worker and they don't have a car. They still have to use mass transit, and that's sort of scary by itself because you've got to get on a bus or a train or something with a whole bunch of other people that might be sick. So I mean, there's a lot of little moving parts into here. So are you the number three? I guess would say is if you're number three, are you a number three that was affected by you're not working because of COVID-19? In other words, you're out of job, you lost your job, you quit your work. If you are, feel free to jump in and share. And if you are catching this stream on one of my pages, there's probably a link up there that says you want to comment. If you click on that link, it says something about StreamYard. You'll be able to drop into my comments box over here. Either that or I'll have to open up another, you know what, I'll just open up a chat deal here on my phone so I can see you guys as well. For those of you that just don't like jumping through the extra hoops, which is absolutely okay. I get it. Yeah, there's let's see. We got 3 people viewing me. Turn this down here a little bit. For those of you that just don't like to jump the volumes on this side. I don't know why I just thought about that. Everybody's talking about Androids and iPhones. It's like the people with Android seem to think they can do more with an Android. I just did a squirrel here. I just went another direction. It seems like they can do more with an Android than you can do with an iPhone, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly what that is. I guess you can watch more movies on an Android, make more phone calls, send more text messages, get more viruses. I know you can definitely get more viruses on an Android. Um, they break down a lot more. I'm just trying to figure out exactly what I just completely changed my subject. Anyway, coming back, coming back, you guys. So what is your current situation? Are you working from home, and has your company give you an opportunity to work from home and keep doing what you do? And as you're working from home, how are you coping working from home? Did you? And I did this last night on a live. Is having your home office at home? Did you set you up a little corner in the room in the dining room or somewhere, and told the kid that it's mommy or daddy's work time and they can't bother you? Are you actually getting work done at home, even though your boss sends you home to do work? And what kind of video conferencing software are you using? Zoom? Because I know Zoom went cray for a little while in terms of what they were doing because they were getting a lot of hacks. And of course, anywhere there's just jerkwads that see an opportunity to jump in on something and do that is so it's are you working from home? And Donna replies 2 and 3. So she's not working, and she is working from home. So that's pretty cool. And of course, number one, are you an essential worker? Is it something that you do that you get to go work? I'm an essential worker. And it's like I haven't skipped a beat since this thing, other than the fact that our workspace now is probably so germ free. If you just walk in the building, you'll probably be, every germ on your body will be, we've disinfected counters, floors, doors, handles, knobs. I mean, I think I can literally, I sanitize my hands so many times a day, I could probably touch somebody like, it healed in the name of, and seriously, I mean, my hands are just crazy. I got this new sanitizer my wife just got. It's organic. It's made out of 97% organic materials, which is nice. It feels really good, smells really good. So I'm gonna start using that instead of the other stuff, and it kills germs as well. So very, very cool thing. So are you an essential worker? Or even there's almost a number 4 in there is people that are actually sort of still open, but you're not fully open. You're like in between like the 1 and the 2. You're like a 1.5. So I know there's quite a few restaurants where they're half open, like the one place we like to go here over on St. Charles Road is called Bus Loop Burgers. Have the best. It's family owned, and what they did was they opened up their lobby to sort of walk in, but they put this huge like plexiglass barrier, right? This little window about this big, to slide your money through, and they put the pay machine outside, and then they got a table over on the side. So when they cook the food behind the counter, you can call in your order, and they cook the food and they bring it out and they set it on the table, and then you walk up to the table and they just keep everybody. And I think they're limited to like 4 or 5 people in the room. That way it keeps, the distancing down to a minimum, so that there's not a lot of people in the room. So that's sort of that's like a 1.5 type kind of situation, which is cool. It's neat that they can stay open, and they had an area that they could set up that they could still do business and still do some business, not as much business you want, because usually you go there at lunchtime. I mean, the line is like, basically out the door with people, and of course they can't do that now, but it's neat that they can stay in business a little bit. I know people that work at Target that got their own hours / because they hired more part-time workers. And yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why you'd hire part-time workers in case people got sick? I'm not quite sure, but that's just crazy. I mean, everybody, I guess people own those big businesses, I guess, know better than us and how they do that. So yeah, I get it for sure. So an essential workers, it's exactly what is an essential worker. And of course they come up with the new rules. I know one of the things that Walmart here in Missouri finally did was they went to the limited, because Walmart was a freaking COVID-19 fest for a little while. It was stressful to like go in that store. And then my wife told me she went to Walmart the day before yesterday, and she said there was like 40 people in the whole store. I'm like, yes, that's how it should have been. That's how it should have been 3 or 4 weeks ago, because it was cray in there. I mean, it was stressful, and now they've got a limit. I know the governor of Missouri came out with their new guidelines that says that based on a certain number of square feet, you can only have a certain percentage of numbers based on your maximum occupancy in the store at one time. And then they were letting 10 people in, 10 people out. So for every, once they maximize their occupancy percentage based on that number, they would let a certain number of people in. And I know there's quite a few other stores that were doing the same thing. They'd only let a certain number of people in the store at a time, and they locked off all their other doors, and you can only go through one door. So it made it more convenient to get people in and out. So what are you? Are you a 1, a 2, or a 3? Feel free to share what your experience is. Feel free to comment on your experience. What is, being an essential worker? What are you going through? What's happening? Feel free to share. Tell people your story. What do you do for a living? That's an essential worker. You grocery store people. Man, I think right now working in a grocery store is stressful, because I know my daughter, she works at Sam's Club out in California. She said they put up big plexiglass barriers between them and the people coming through the check line, and then people aren't following the 6-foot rule in the store, and it gets real stressful. You want to hit somebody with a can of string beans in the head, like, dude, back up, until this gets all squared away. So are you an essential worker? Are you sort of a 1, or maybe a 1.2 or 1.5, somewhere in between the two? Are you working from home? If you're working from home, what do you do? What kind of work do you do? Feel free to share that with us. And if you're unemployed, let me know. What do you do for a job? What kind of work do you do? Feel free to inbox me if you want. If you don't want to put it out in the public, and I'll see if I know somebody that might know somebody. I do know a few people, and maybe help you get some kind of work to get you going. So I worked in the restaurant industry. Yeah, the restaurant industry is just, it took a butt whooping big time. Yeah, my youngest daughter, she's working part-time at a restaurant here in St. Louis, and they closed her down. She's going to school, so hopefully she's faring okay. I told her about going to apply for unemployment. I know the whole new unemployment guidelines are completely different than what they were just a few months ago, so which is cool. So people that are part-time, like my daughter's going to school full-time and do that, and now I guess she's doing all her courses online or something to get her school done. So it's just it's a shift. There's a shift that's happened, and it's the self-correcting and how people are going to interact with one another, and some things that are happening in just business and commerce. I know online delivery is just macked. I know the delivery people are, and it's just very cool to see like the DoorDash people and the different ones that come in. The ones that come in are like very, very, they're protective, they're sanitizing. One of the customers I saw today, he created his own little, like a web slinger sanitizer thing. We had a little thing around his wrist, and he put the little sanitizer in here, and he could pull it back, you could squeeze it and put sanitizer on his hands. I'm like, dude was inventive. It was very, very cool. It's like a web slinger. He put his wrist back and he squeezed a tube and it put stuff on his hands. He rubbed his hands together. He closed a little bottle and had him like on his wrist. I was like, man, that was pretty creative. It was pretty neat. So very, very awesome there. Says I made it. I just got done watching your other video about the home office. Oh, neat. Yeah, thanks, Rick. So yeah, in terms of saying, I'm actually in my upstairs where I was sitting down at the dining room table yesterday, and I moved up here, did an interview in the 100K Inner Circle at night, which was absolutely a blast. Had a chance to share in that group, and it always is to be able to share my experience, strength, and hope there, which is absolutely cool. So are you 1, 2, or 3? Feel free to share that. Yeah, it was like Spider-Man. It was very cool, Don. It was just, everybody's becoming real creative. I want to find somebody that can make me one of the cloth masks that looks like Venom from Spider-Man. The Venom guy that has the big freaking teeth and the tongue coming out. That's what I want. I want one of those, just really cool, and I mean, it sort of fits right now. You know what I'm saying? But I want a Venom Spider-Man mask thingy, yeah, that you can get. So that's my deal. If you guys know somebody that makes them, especially here in St. Louis here, if they make them locally, I'll definitely gladly go pay for one. Not a doubt, because I think it'd just be cool to have it. Anyway, that's all I got. Going a little bit on the marketing side. If you do have a home-based business, you're working from home, and you're maybe struggling a little bit how to get prospects, I figured it out, and I'm not bragging on me. I've got a really cool script that I use for reaching out to people. It works. It's working like cray-cray. Feel free to shoot me a private message, and I'll get that over to you. And I'll say this again, not to brag. I've enrolled 54 customers in the last 8 days. So what I'm doing works. And again, it's not to brag. It's because there's people out there. I want you to think about this. This is a great time to reach out to somebody that's struggling. Now, just understand this. Even the working at home people who, for example, like my wife, she's working at home, and now she realizes how cool it is to work at home and still get paid. And those people, if you reach out to them, they might go, wait a minute, I'm already working at home. Maybe I could spend a little extra 30 or 45 minutes working at home and create a side hustle to maybe work at home while I'm working at home, if that makes sense. So there's some people who still have money. They still have income. They're still out there. There's still people doing that. There's essential workers that are going, my God, this really sucks that I still have to go to work during all this stuff, and that I'm an essential worker, and they're sort of super stressed that you're reaching out to those people going, hey, I know that you're an essential worker, but if you maybe need to make some extra money, maybe they're an essential worker and got their hours cut back, like Donna was saying at Target, maybe they got their hours cut in half because they hired a bunch of part-time people or something. Maybe even those people might be looking for a way to earn some extra money. So if you have a work at home based business, a network marketing business, an affiliate marketing business, and you're not on the internet reaching out to people, you're missing the opportunity to help a whole bunch of people that maybe want to change, maybe don't want to go through the same crap the next time it happens, and maybe you might be their lifeboat. Maybe maybe they're thinking, I've got this $500, or maybe they're getting their unemployment and they can actually go ahead and invest and start doing something now. So when this is over, they'll have a business up and running, because it doesn't happen overnight. You're not going to go out and build $1 billion business in 15 minutes. But if you're looking to make it, $100 or $200 or $300 extra this month, or maybe $500 this month to help offset that, this might be a great opportunity. If you're not quite sure what you want to do, I invite you to check mine out. Shoot me a private message. I'll get you the details on what I do. You can plug in with me. We'll teach you how to market, prospect, grow a business. And if worst case scenario, you don't decide you want to align with me for the long term, that's absolutely okay. At least you'll have the skill set to go out and just crush it and do your own little side hustle on the side, whatever that deal is. So again, if you want my prospecting script, shoot me a private message. If you're interested in looking at a side hustle and maybe you're a 1, 2, or 3, it really doesn't matter. Again, shoot me a private message. I'll get you some information. If you like it, great. If not, that's absolutely okay. No big deal at all. I appreciate you. I love you guys. This is Forrest out in St. Louis. I love you. Jesus loves you. There's absolutely nothing to do about it. No more empty refrigerators. Go out and make an extreme impact. Peace out. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. And let's see if I can get this thing to disconnect. Bam.